Last year the Alabama rig took the fishing world by storm, and that's something I've been throwing for about I was actually throwing it about 6 months before it really hit the presses. The guy who was making them, he lives in Florence, close to where I do, so I had some of the early prototypes, and it was a neat deal from the very beginning. But your line and your rod and reel setup are real important. I like to use an 8-foot rod with a long handle. That gives you a little bit longer cast, and it also is less fatigue on your body throughout the day. That bait will wear on you more than just about any other bait you can throw, and having a long rod with kind of a good bend from the center to the tip and that long handle where you can make a lob cast is real important. I use the Dobyns 804, which is an 8-foot medium heavy with an 11-inch handle. That rod, like I said, it a lot less fatigue on your back. You want to use a reel with a large line capacity. I use the Lew's Super Duty in the 6.4-to-1. And that Super Duty has a big spool, so you can put 165 yards of braid on there. Most of the time I'm using 65-pound vicious braid. And you can put enough braid on that reel that you'll never hit a braid knot when you're casting. And that's real important, because a lot of times with that heavy rig, you're making some real long casts with it. Most of the time I'm throwing the 65. Occasionally, if it's a real snaggy area, I'll upgrade to the 80, but the 65 to me is a good compromise between strength and making a longer cast. I mean, I feel like I can get a slightly longer cast with 65. If the water's clear and I'm using downsized baits, then I'm going to use 20-pound Vicious Pro Elite fluorocarbon. It seems like in that clear water you don't quite get as many bites on braid, and that the fluorocarbon will get you a few more bites. When I'm looking for an area to throw that, the Tennessee River where I live it's all current related. So I'm looking for current breaks where the current is hitting the bank and causing a kick out. Most of the time, I mean, you want to be fishing some kind of a seam. That's where you'll catch your bigger ones, where you have a knob, like a knobby point coming out in the river channel and creating a seam. An island a lot of times will create a big cutting seam in it. So you want to always be thinking about where there's an eddy, and those fish are going to be sitting right outside that main current flow, and you want to position your boat down and cast up where you're following that seam with your Alabama rig, and that's where you'll catch most of your big fish.
Just one fish or a stringer full, big or small, with family and friends, or when it's all on the line. It's fishing. It's vicious fishing. Get vicious.